according to the Navy, that they had some technical issues in the engine at a last moment, and the person who is on the wheel could not alter the course at the last moment.
What is the reason of not stopping the boat, not stopping the engine? Okay, it might be definitely, I'm sure, a 25 to 30 knot speed of that particular speedboat. They would have stopped it because those boats, if you stop the lever from full to stop, definitely it will stop, and then further, because of little momentum, it can go ahead.
You're watching Viewpoint. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali. It's been an extremely unfortunate case of a boat capsize. Rather, it's actually a collision that led to the capsize and death of 13 people off Mumbai's coast, very close to the iconic gateway of India. My colleague Samaksh has put together a report for us. Let's quickly listen in first to exactly what happened. And then I'll, of course, go across to experts and survivors.
उनके फ्रेंड ने फोन किया, बोले आप बहन हो तो जल्दी निकल के आओ।
Ferry carrying 110 people, including children, en route to Elephanta Island from Mumbai's iconic gateway of India, capsized after a Navy speedboat rammed into it, leaving 13 dead, including 10 civilians and a Navy personnel. The incident occurred on December 18 around 6:30 p.m. where a speedboat rammed in the ferry near Urankaranja. Reportedly, the incident happened when a naval speedcraft undergoing trials in the sea went out of control. Notably, the naval boat's engine had been recently changed and the new engine was being tested. The engine got stuck in full throttle, boat went out of control and rammed into the ferry Neelkamal. A viral video of this incident showed the speedboat from a far distance trying to take a turn to avoid crash. But still it lost control and crashed into the ferry off Mumbai coast. The Navy officials confirmed that 13 people died and 101 survivors have been rescued. In the boat, there were approximately 110 passengers, including 20 children. 8 crafts of the Indian Navy have been pressed into search operations in the area. PM offered condolence over Mumbai boat accident and said, "I pray for the injured to recover soon." PMO has also announced an ex gratia of Rs 2 lakh for the families of the deceased and 50,000 for the injured. CM Fadnavis also announced an ex gratia of Rs 5 lakh for the family members of deceased.
नेवी, कोस्ट गार्ड और पुलिस इन्होंने 11 क्राफ्ट और 4 हेलीकॉप्टर्स के माध्यम से बचाव कार्य करके तेजी से लोगों को बचाने का प्रयास किया है। अभी भी अंतिम इसका समाचार नहीं मिल पाया है। जो कल सुबह तक पता चलेगा कि अगर कोई और मिसिंग है तो उसके बारे में जानकारी ये कल सुबह तक मिल पाएगी। अभी तक की जानकारी हमने आपको दी है। जो जिन लोगों की मृत्यु हुई है उनको सीएम रिलीफ फंड से 5 लाख रुपए दिए जाएंगे। और ये जो पूरी घटना है, इस घटना की तफ्तीश ये पुलिस भी करेगी और नेवी भी करेगी।
A rescue
All right, so we will, of course, try and have a discussion around how could this happen. 13 precious lives lost. And is this because of sheer negligence of a certain authority that decided to do testing of a machinery in the route of passenger boats? You know, that should have been out of bounds. Such trials, such experiments should not happen in the routes that passenger boats go through. And that is my understanding. But of course, as you heard my colleague Samaksh tell us, this was an Indian Navy craft speedboat which was undergoing trials for a newly fitted engine. It experienced a sort of a malfunction. And then, like I said, it crashed into a passenger ferry boat off the Mumbai coast that killed 13 people. This figure is being quoted by the Indian Navy. An inquiry is initiated to determine the exact cause of the incident, but it is believed that the engine malfunction led to the rider losing control. So basically, it's being said that this is a technical error. It's not a human error, it is a technical snag at best, which has resulted in the collision. So I want to understand all of this in this program. Joining me now is Mr. Chetan Rane. He's a marine expert, and he has, in fact, has had the experience of seeing several speedboats at the gateway of India as well. Chetan Rane is with us now. Chetan is a sailing coach and an Indian yachtsman. Thank you. Good evening for joining us,
Thank you.
Chetan.
Good evening. Good
Yes,
evening.
let's understand from you then, since you are an expert in this area, that, we are told that this was a trial boat. How did it sort of enter the route of a passenger boat? Because if it is an experiment, if it is a trial, it is possible that things can go wrong, but it should not, put at risk lives of the common man, as it did in this case.
So, according to the yesterday's incident that happened in the Bombay Harbor area,
Mhm.
according to the Western Naval Command's Indian Navy PRO, that was an engine failure, and they were taking the engine trials. But the route that they were taking the engine trials were a busy channel for the passenger ferries and other private crafts, and also the
Okay.
ships. The Indian Navy has the dedicated area, the harbor that they have, and they should have also secured the area uh, according to the protocols that they have, and then have done the trial. But
Mhm.
it's according to the Navy that they had some technical issues in the engine at the last moment, and the person who is on the wheel could not alter the course at the last moment, and RIP, that is a rigid inflatable dinghy that is in stone, the high
Yes.
speed jet propulsion, went and collided with the passenger ferry, the Mumbai Elephanta passenger ferry, and unfortunate incident has been taken place.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand that, but my question was that when Navy conducts these experiments, isn't there a set area dedicated for the purpose which is not supposed to coincide with passenger boats? Do you think that there was some sort of a overreach, some transgression on the part of the Indian Navy and negligence, so to speak, in your understanding that this could happen?
It shows that there was a kind of a negligence by the operators, and there are some certain laid down protocols when the engine trials or any such kind of uh, operations that has to be taken on the water. And I think the protocols were not seen followed, and they have some certain areas of the operations where such kind of trials or any kind of exercise that has to be taken care around. So uh, it should not be the passenger ferry, the route from where all the passenger ferries and other private crafts or the ships are being, moving up and down in the harbor. So that's what I
Perhaps there
understand
should
from
be a
yesterday's
dedicated
report.
time of the day. Perhaps the area should be cordoned off if such experiments are taking place. You cannot have a situation where this sort of an engine snag can take place because it is an experiment, and yet you, at the same time, you have passenger boats. And this is a very busy area, dockyard, if I understand it correctly, because there are boats going to Elephanta, there are boats going to Mandwa port, there are boats going to Alibag. So it's a busy route, isn't it? I mean, this was waiting to happen. If you
Definitely.
decided to run a speedboat in this area, let me introduce Mr. Santosh Shinde as well. Some of the pictures are running on our screens right now of the rescue, and it was, of course, a Herculean task. About over 100 passengers were rescued as well. I'll come to the visuals in just a bit. I'm going to go across to Mr. Santosh Shinde now to kind of get an idea about what sort of engineering fault do you think could have happened? Did really Indian Navy take a risk here by conducting these experiments in this particular area?
Hey, good evening, everybody. First of all, I'm very sorry for the people who died in that mishap. See, the thing is, any accident you take, any accident anywhere in the world, the accident is due to the 80% they say it is due to the human error and 20% due to the technical error. Now here what happens, I'll come to that story, but let me explain you the accident and who are the causes, what are the causes for it. So the one is human error and one is the technical error. 80% is human error. Now human error is due to the negligence, carelessness, incompetency, etc. And 20% is due to the technical error. Now what happens in technical error? The machineries, they are the one who plays the main important role of running the boats or for the electricity and various things. Now again, if you don't do the proper maintenance, if you don't look after the machinery, if you don't check the water, oil or whatever things, technical aspect of that particular machinery, the machinery is going to fail. So in this technical error, who is responsible? Again, the human. So if any accident, 100% it is human error. People might say because it's not my fault, it's because the machinery broke down, whatever. Now we come to this particular incident. Here, the Neelkamal boat is going from Mumbai to Elephanta Caves, okay? And what I can gather, because whatever the information what I have gathered from video clips and whatever the conversations and all that. So here it seems at the initial prima facie the boat was not overcrowded, okay? So there was supposed to be 130 capacity, but there were hardly 80, 85 or 90 passengers, including crew. So it was not overcrowded. The weather was very quiet, calm. Okay, so there was no chance, and the engine was running well. It was not broken down, or there was no ingress of water due to some hole or something like that in the boat itself. So when we say the boat was good as far as the Neelkamal passenger ferry is concerned, then we come to the other part of the boat, that is the speedboat. It seems belongs to the Indian Navy. Now, as far as this boat which is operating in this open area, okay, so who gives the permission to operate this? Either Indian Navy or Mumbai Port Trust. That jurisdiction is the authority. They allow the traffic manager, you can say, whoever is involved in this. They are, like Mr. Rane said, that protocol should have been followed. Now, the area of the operation of these trials of that speedboat, now that has to be decided. That has to be, marked, that from where to where those boats should be operated. Now, it is very clear. Now, if you go for the investigation and all that mudslings, accusation, blame game, everything will be there. But that particular boat was supposed to doing the trials, and when they do the trials, whatever the zigzag motions and all, when what is the reason of not stopping the boat, not stopping the engine? Okay, it might be definitely, I'm sure, a 25 to 30 knot speed of that particular speedboat. They would have stopped it, because those boats, if you stop the lever from full to stop, definitely it will stop, and then further, because of little momentum, it can go ahead. But immediately you can give the Aston kick and you can stop the small boat. It does not have brakes. So this is what is the last minute. Even if the engine is failed or whatever the reason, the operator, the particular person who was operating that speedboat. Now you have to find out whether that particular person was certified, qualified to operate that boat, whether he is having the certificate of competency. So that was the part because I don't know, it is belongs to Indian Navy, and why they were operating at such a speed. They were not even chasing some smuggler boat or the terrorist boat. So even if the last minute, if they have realized the engine is not stopping, they would have taken the open sea area and they would have gone further ahead instead of moving in that particular zone. Okay, so that is what, and it is all recorded. It did hit the Neelkamal. Now come to the Neelkamal part. Neelkamal is going very smoothly to Elephanta Caves. There were 85 passengers were on board. Now here what happened, when that speedboat hit the live Neelkamal, then there was a hole and the water ingress started, and what I have heard from the survivors that it sank in 5 minutes. Now the problem is here, because when I was with MMB, I remember very well, and we have even made the clear instructions to the operators or the boat owners, that whenever the passengers they board these ferries from A to B, they must wear the life jackets. See, there are different kind of life-saving appliances on these passenger ferries, like ring buoys, or we can call it as a life buoys. Then we have a buoyant apparatus. You have a life jackets, even for the children as well as for the adults. So it is a responsibility of the operators who is there on board on that particular ferry, whether it is a captain or they must allow each passenger to wear the life jacket, and then they can start the boat from A to B till they finish their destination. They come to their destination. When they disembark, they remove the life jacket and keep it aside. Now what happened here? Passengers just take it very easily. They don't wear that. They just say we don't need it because their clothes get dirty. Now, what is important? Your life is important. Your safety is the topmost priority, which the passenger don't understand, and it's a business at the end.
Chetan, please help us understand
Yes.
this. That how often, in your understanding, these sort of trials take place? Was this a one-off case? या ये होता रहता है इस तरह के experiments नेवी द्वारा?
See, we have a very less idea about because all of this trials and everything has kept, very close and confidential. So we
Yeah.
really don't know. But they have some patrolling boats that go on around the harbor, and their trials. Obviously, they have to do the engine trials when they fix the new engine or they do some technical work in that. So
Hmm.
according to the Navy PRO, they were doing the engine trials, and being a technical thing, the engine may have seized or some technical issues that the steering must have been blocked, and the sailor who was on the wheel didn't get a time to react at the last moment, and
Hmm.
the rib went and collided with the passenger ferry.
Right.
That's
Stay
what
with
we
us.
understand, but we're still waiting for the report, detailed report and investigation that has to be that has to be done from the Navy.
Yeah.
We can clearly
Of course,
speak
the
on that after
inquiry is
that.
just initiated, so of course a detailed report will come whether there was any
Correct.
human error, whether there was any negligence. Of course, a lot of things are coming out. Even in the passenger boat, lives could have been saved if precautions were taken. People were not wearing life jackets. That's like the bare minimum. It should have been mandatory. And unfortunately, because those precautions, very basic precautions, were not taken, even after the collision, for so many people to die right off the gateway of India, it's extremely sad. And I mean, it's something which should not have happened in today's time and age. And we will come to that. But let's listen into the survivors as
एक
well, people who
बता
went
रहे कि
through this
नेवी की बोट
ordeal.
थी जो हम लोग उसको जो वीडियो जो बनाए ना वो हम लोग ही वीडियो बनाए ऊपर थे हम लोग माले पे तो बाजू से हमारे 2-3 स्टैंड किए तो उसके बाद में हम लोग वीडियो बनाए बोला इतने स्टैंड करे वीडियो चालू किया तो वीडियो आगे जाके वही बोट वापस हमको आके टक्कर मार दिया तो आगे जैसे टक्कर मारा तो बोट आगे से शायद फूट गई तो वो अंदर बोट में पानी आने लगा तो हम लोग ऊपर से नीचे आए फटाफट जैकेट पहना बाकी लोगों को भी जैकेट दिया तब तक करीबन 1-2 मिनट ही टाइम मिला सबको बहुत जन थे उनको जैकेट पहनने को भी नहीं मिला और नाव एक तरफ झुक गई पूरा हम लोग जो थे समुद्र में छलांग लगा दी तो करीबन आधे घंटे तक सभी लोग वहाँ पे चिल्ला रहे थे बचाओ 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 आधे घंटे के बाद में वहाँ पे नेवी की भी बोट आई अदर भी हम लोग को भी वो एक एलिफेंटा से रिटर्न बोट आ रही थी छोटी बोट हमको उन्होंने उनको बचाया मेरे को भी एक कैरेट मिल गया था उल्टा करके मैंने पकड़ के रखा तो एक वो तरुण करके कोई लड़का था हमारे राजस्थान सांडे राव का वो पकड़ के रखा 1-2-3 लेडीज भी थी एक मेरे साथ में और लड़का वो भी हम लोग 6-7 जन हम लोग पकड़ के रखे थे तो वो बोट दूसरी जो एलिफेंटा से आई उन्होंने रस्सी फेंका तो वो पकड़ के हम लोग उसमें चढ़े उसके आधे घंटे करीबन तो 5-6 बोट आ गई थी तब तक सब यही सब डरे हुए थे इतना भयानक थे जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे ज्यादातर वो इसमें ज्यादा हुए लेडीज भी थी
जिनकी डेथ हुई है अब तक 13 लोग बताए जा रहे हैं उनमें से किसी से आपकी कोई बातचीत पहले हुई थी जब वो
नहीं हम लोग 2-3 जन ऊपर थे वो शायद मेरे हिसाब से कोई गोवा से भी घूमने के लिए आए हुए थे और बाकी नीचे भी थे तो सब एक दूसरे सब क्या एंजॉय कर रहे थे पूरे कोई रील बना रहा था कोई फोटो खींच रहा था तो इतना अंदाजा भी नहीं था इतना एकदम हो जाएगा करके तो जैसे टक्कर मारा उसके बाद में भी लोगों को नहीं पता था कि डूब जाएंगे टक्कर मारने के बाद क्या इतना जोर से टक्कर थी तो सामने की तरफ जो नेवी वाले थे उनके भी 2-3 जन तो तुरंत वहीं पे खत्म हो गए
तो मतलब जब घटना हुई और नाव को डूबने में पूरा कितना समय लगा जब एक बार
डूबने में टोटल समय पूरी नाव पलट में 5 मिनट के अंदर अंदर पूरी पलट गई थी आधी तो झुक गई थी 1-2 मिनट में तो इसीलिए ज्यादातर लोगों को वो जैकेट पहनने का टाइम भी नहीं मिला तो जैसे जिस जो नजदीक थे जैकेट तो फटाफट उन्होंने पहन लिया तो हम लोग तो 5-6 दिन पहले अंदर छलांग लगा दी थी बाकी ज्यादातर लेडीज लोग थे जो वजन में थे वो नहीं पहन पाए और वो ज्यादातर नुकसान भी ज्यादा हुआ उनको लेडीज और कोई हटे कटे जो थे उनको वो ज्यादातर हमको भी सुनने में आ रहा है कि डूब गए करके ऐसा
जब दुर्घटना हुई उसके बाद लोग जैकेट्स की तरफ भागे तो क्या जैकेट्स पर्याप्त संख्या में थे
नहीं पर्याप्त संख्या में नहीं थे दूसरी जो बोट आई ना एक दूसरे को पकड़ के रखे थे जैसा मैंने जैकेट पहना था या मेरे को एक कैरेट मिला तो हम लोग 7 जन थे करीबन मेरे पकड़ के रखे थे मेरे को ऐसे भी एक दूसरे को पकड़ के सब खड़े रहे उधर समुद्र के अंदर ही उसके बाद में करीबन आधे घंटे बाद जब बोट आई एक दूसरी बोट आई थी वो भी एलिफेंटा से आई थी उसने करीबन एक साथ में बहुत सारे जैकेट फेंके थे अंदर तो लोगों ने उसको वो जैकेट लिए पहनने को नहीं मिला तो वो पकड़ के रखे तो वो बच गए
कुछ लोगों को जब निकाला गया उसका उनको इलाज के लिए ले जाया गया तो क्या आप लोगों को भी इलाज वगैरह की जरूरत
हाँ नहीं इलाज हम लोग को भी लेके गया हम सही ठीक थे बाकी हॉस्पिटल हम लोग सबको लेके आया एक्सरे किए पूरा चेकअप किया हम लोग को उसके बाद हम लोग रात को करीबन 3 बजे घर पे आए हम लोग और जो वीडियो जो था मैन वो वीडियो के लिए हम लोग पुलिस स्टेशन हमको लेके गए थे कुलाबा पुलिस स्टेशन तो वहाँ पे भी हम लोग को गवाही के तरह बयान भी लिया वो भी लिया हमारा लिया
तो अब पुलिस ने आपको फिर आगे कुछ कहा बयान के लिए आपको आना होगा या
हाँ बोला था कि अगर कॉल करेंगे तो आप आओ करके
और किसी तरह की शिनाख्त वगैरह के लिए आपसे मदद मांगी उन्होंने किसी की पहचान के लिए कोई
हाँ वो भी फोटो वोटो दिखाए थे हमको कि ये आप जानते हो उनको क्या वो काफी फोटो दिखाए थे 12-13 जन का फोटो दिखाए थे जिसकी डेड बॉडी मिल गई थी तो बाकी तो एक लेडीज थी उनकी कुछ यूपी से शायद थे गुप्ता करके वो भी हमारे साथ में थी वो हम लोग जो जिस बोट में बैठे थे उसी में थे उनकी भी मम्मी थी उसकी भी डेड बॉडी मिली एक लड़का तरुण करके था हमारा राजस्थान का था मलाड में था उसने जैकेट नहीं पहना था वो मेरे को पकड़ के रखा उनके शायद पिताजी का भी सुनने आया कि वो एक्सपायर हो गया
लगभग समथिंग 4:15 बजे समथिंग ये हादसा हुआ और जो नेवी की बोट जो स्टैंड वाली आ रही थी बोट उसने पहले वीडियो लेने के पहले 4-5 राउंड उसने मारा उसके बाद उसने हमारे बोट के साइड में से आके उसने 5-6 मारे राउंड और उसके बाद जैसे ही उसने स्पीड से आ रहा था तो डायरेक्ट सडनली आगे से बोट को उसने टक्कर मारी जैसे ही टक्कर मारी उसने हमारा बोट फूट गया था और जो नेवी की बोट थी उसमें से 5-6 लोग थे, तो वो लोग भी उसमें से इमीजिएटली खत्म हो गए थे, घायल हुए थे। जो इसमें से एक इंसान बचा था, और 2-3 मिनट समथिंग में तो बोट डूबने लग गई थी। 2 मिनट भी नहीं हुई थी, 5 मिनट में तो पूरा चैप्टर क्लोज हो गया था।
आप लोग जब पानी में कूदे खुद को बचाने के लिए, उसके बाद कितने समय तक आप लोगों को पानी में रहना पड़ा और उसका दूसरी बोट आया कि आपको रेस्क्यू करना
आधा घंटा समथिंग, 30 मिनट समथिंग, उसके बाद बोट आई।
तो किस चीज़ के सहारे आप लोग पानी में आधे घंटे टिके रहे? क्या था जिसके चलते आप डूबे नहीं और आप फ्लोट करते रहे?
इसको बहुत सारे जो लोगों को लाइफ जैकेट भी मिला और किसी को मिला ही नहीं। फिर कोई कैरेट वैरेट मिला, कोई डब्बे उब्बे पड़े थे वो मिले, वो पकड़ के खड़े रहे और एक दूसरे को पकड़ पकड़ के खड़े रहे। उसके बाद वो सबको बचाए। फिर उसके बोट जो डूबा था वो थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर भी था, तो फिर आधे लोग तो उसके ऊपर भी चढ़ के खड़े रहे।
13 लोगों की मौत की पुष्टि हो चुकी है और 5 लोगों तक गायब भी बताया गया है। तो जो गायब हुए हैं लोग या जिनकी डेथ हुई है, उनसे कोई आपकी बातचीत हुई थी? आपको याद आता है कि जब सफर आपका शुरू हुआ था और करीब आधे घंटे आप साथ में, तो बातचीत हुई है? किसी को पहचानते हैं?
नहीं, बातचीत किसी से नहीं हुई। जो बोट के अंदर जो पलटी का उसके अंदर मेरे सामने 2-3 लेडीज तो अंदर बोट के अंदर ही थी, जो एकदम मर चुकी थी। 1-2 बच्चे भी थे जो पानी में मर के एकदम ऊपर आ गए थे तैर के।
तो जब आप लोगों को रेस्क्यू किया गया उसके बाद आपको अस्पताल ले जाया गया और पुलिस से आपकी क्या बातचीत हुई? उसके बाद जब आपको रेस्क्यू करा लिया गया, पानी से निकाल लिया गया, बोट में दूसरी बोट में ले लिया गया, उसके बाद क्या क्या हुआ?
वो उन लोगों ने पूछा कि तुम्हारे साथ थे कौन कौन थे, क्या थे, सब रेडी है या बातचीत हुई, वो सब पूछा। फिर हम लोगों को पानी वानी पिलाया, चाय वाय पिलाया। फिर उधर से एम्बुलेंस वगैरह आई, बसें वगैरह भी सुविधा की उन लोगों ने। फिर हॉस्पिटल लेके गए, उधर चेकअप वेकअप सबका किया। फिर सबकी व्यवस्था व्यवस्था, किसी को कपड़े नहीं थे उसको कपड़े नहीं दिए। प्रशासन ने सेवा सबको की। बाकी लोग बहुत, इसमें छोटे बच्चे वगैरह भी बहुत सारे मरे। और करीबन जो बता रहे उससे, मेरे अंदाज से उससे ज़्यादा लोग अभी तक है लापता है। जो 13 बता रहे उससे लापता ज़्यादा भी है। जिसका कोई सिंगल आया उसका तो कोई अता पता ही नहीं है।
चेतन राणे, आपको जैसे ये आप सुन रहे हैं, व्हेन यू हियर दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ थिंग फ्रॉम
Correct.
दिस पर्सन, ही इज सेइंग स्पीड बोट आके जैसे ही कलाइड किया, of course at that moment lot of water rushed, and it reminds me of that iconic movie Titanic, where you hear that, you know, once the water gushes in, what is the immediate thing that should be done by the passengers? Safety precaution में सबसे पहला first aid first step क्या आता है? It doesn't seem anybody in that boat was even aware कि in case of an emergency अपने आप को बचाने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए.
I think there are certain safety measures that all the ferry boats and all the passenger boats that operate in the Bombay Harbor or anywhere in India or world have. There are personal flotation devices, there are life jackets and everything that are being provided to all the passengers. I think in
Why
such
couldn't they save
situation,
themselves? Was it available in this boat, or you're saying
there was
available
there
भी था,
was
लोगों को पता नहीं था? They didn't know.
there was personal flotation devices which were available in the boat. If you can see some videos
Yeah,
that we can see in the other news channels, there were personal protection devices, life jackets given to the passengers. In such incidents, there is a lot of confusion and chaos that takes place. The crew of the boat and the person who is responsible, the captain of the boat, has
yeah,
to have some protocols, safety
yeah,
protocols, safety
yeah.
briefing.
Hmm.
If you see, whenever we fly,
Hmm.
in any flight, the cabin crew gives you the safety instruction. If anything happens, what precautions you have to take, where is the, the how will be the oxygen mask pop out if there is
Yeah,
the pressure problem inside the craft.
yeah,
Accordingly, we should also have some safety instructions that has to be given to the passengers before
yeah.
the starting of the ferry everywhere. And the passenger sitting should definitely know if anything happens, what protocol should they follow to save their life for safety,
Hmm.
grabbing the life jackets, wearing it. Because, see, any of these passenger ferries or personal craft, they are all been certified, they have been insured, and they are being surveyed only after all the safety norms which has been laid by the Maharashtra Maritime Board are being completely met. Otherwise, none of these crafts are being given the fitness or the survey certificates to ply the boat in the harbor. So definitely they had a lot of safety measures that has been taken, and with the hello.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Carry on. Carry
Also, with all the help of the Coast Guard, the Navy, the Maharashtra Maritime Board, the Bombay Port Trust, and a lot of yachtsmen, the speedboat owners, and everyone rushed to help them. A lot of life was saved yesterday.
on. Mm. Yeah, I mean, we are told that 13 might not be the final figure. A lot of people are critically injured at this point of time. All right. I want to conclude with that. Chetan, Rane, thank you so much for joining us. I am going to, of course, try and keep in touch with you for our future discussions as well when we have the final report. अभी काफी चीजें
Definitely,
जो है ग्रे एरिया में है. Do you agree? Because नेवी का इसमें क्या लापरवाही था? What was the negligence on their part? 3 of their officials have also lost their lives. So we have to keep that in mind as well. And the precautions, because lessons must be learned. This is not how you lose little children and innocent lives who were out on a fun trip. They were going to the Elephanta caves. Most of these families are from outside Maharashtra. This was supposed to be a holiday. And to lose a family member, so many homes were shattered because of sheer negligence. I would say the boat owners are also responsible if they do not, like you pointed out, Chetan, that it is the responsibility of the captain to keep everybody informed, just like how it is done in the flights, about what happens should there be an emergency. None of those people who died in this mishap were supposed to dive. They followed precautions probably, because it is not as if you wore a life jacket, if you followed the protocol, you would have drowned in this sort of a scenario. Your life could have been
definitely.
saved. Thank you so much, Chetan, for joining us. Thanks very
Thank
much
you.
for giving us your
Thank you.
time and really appreciate joining us. So, as we close, I want to leave our viewers with visuals from the tragic incident that took place off Mumbai coast last evening. 13 people lost their lives. My colleague Samaksh has put together this report. Let's watch it, and of course, feel free to put in your comments. Thanks.
A ferry carrying 110 people, including children, en route to Elephanta Island from Mumbai's iconic gateway of India, capsized after a Navy speedboat rammed into it, leaving 13 dead, including 10 civilians and a Navy personnel. The incident occurred on December 18 around 6:30 p.m., where a speedboat rammed in the ferry near Urankaranja. Reportedly, the incident happened when a naval speedcraft undergoing trials in the sea went out of control. Notably, the naval boat's engine had been recently changed and the new engine was being tested. The engine got stuck in full throttle, boat went out of control and rammed into the ferry Neelkamal. A viral video of this incident showed the speedboat from a far distance trying to take a turn to avoid crash. But still it lost control and crashed into the ferry off Mumbai coast. The Navy officials confirmed that 13 people died and 101 survivors have been rescued. In the boat, there were approximately 110 passengers, including 20 children. 8 crafts of the Indian Navy have been pressed into search operations in the area. PM offered condolence over Mumbai boat accident and said, "I pray for the injured to recover soon." PMO has also announced an ex gratia of ₹2 lakh for the families of the deceased and 50,000 for the injured. CM Fadnavis also announced an ex gratia of ₹5 lakh for the family members of deceased.
नेवी, कोस्ट गार्ड और पुलिस, इन्होंने 11 क्राफ्ट और 4 हेलीकॉप्टर्स के माध्यम से बचाव कार्य करके तेजी से लोगों को बचाने का प्रयास किया है। अभी भी अंतिम इसका समाचार नहीं मिल पाया है, जो कल सुबह तक पता चलेगा कि अगर कोई और मिसिंग है तो उसके बारे में जानकारी ये कल सुबह तक मिल पाएगी। अभी तक की जानकारी हमने आपको दी है। जो जिन लोगों की मृत्यु हुई है उनको सीएम रिलीफ फंड से 5 लाख रुपए दिए जाएंगे और ये जो पूरी घटना है, इस घटना की तफ्तीश ये पुलिस भी करेगी और नेवी भी करेगी।
A rescue operation is being carried out by the Indian Coast Guard ships and 101 people have been rescued so far. However, 4 are in critical conditions. Reportedly, 11 rescue crafts and 6 helicopters were deployed to carry out the operation. However, 2 passengers, a man and a child, were still reportedly missing. The incident occurred in the busy waters near the city, sparking concerns over the safety of maritime transportation. Authorities are investigating the matter, while rescue operations are ongoing. For more updates, stay tuned.